Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope the guys are all well. Listen, if you've not already watched my generational cooking of Arsenal, make sure you go and watch that. That's on the channel. Literally just finished it right now. Hit the channel, go live, and you'll see it. It's called Stay Humble. You can't really miss it. If you want to watch another generational cooking of Arsenal, go to my stream from today. I've just cooked them twice. And big up, man, everyone in the building. Make sure you guys are smashing up these likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. We brought this show back again. We've also got might have another guy joining, Tristan, who's been on Tarek's channel in the past, so we'll see if he joins. I've sent him the link anyway, but yeah, man. Big up Tarek, big up Danny, big up Ed, and big up Kelkster. Guys, we good, yeah? Everyone in a good mood?
Yeah,
fantastic.
Feeling real good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you seen this generational cooking of Arsenal on Twitter, by the way? Bro, they're getting absolutely
I've contributed
rinsed.
quite a bit to that.
It's mad. It's mad. Everybody's just cooking them. Everyone's cooking. Oh, yo, we might have to. Did you remember that when Arsenal got that penalty? I did not think that was for them. I thought that was going to be a penalty for Arsenal because obviously that guy got took out, and then the guy went and reviewed a penalty. It turned out it was a penalty for Arsenal. What's Vitinha doing on that penalty?
That was so funny.
What is Vitinha playing at? Why is he not just put the ball in the back of the net, man? What's he messing about for?
Yeah, I hate that because again, it's like if you take it a strong, hard penalty and it gets saved, it is what it is, especially if you put it in a good spot. If you take a bad penalty, it's bad enough if you don't make it. It's worse when you do all the extras up front and then you just end up embarrassing yourself. Thankfully, they ended up pulling it out anyway, so no one's going to say anything. But if they lose that match because he doesn't convert that penalty, then there's going to be a lot of upset folks. So
but Tyree,
hopefully he learns from it.
I was thinking, why is he the one taking it? That's out of all the people on the pitch, he wasn't my first option.
But I feel like I've seen him take them for them before. So I don't know if he's their normal penalty taker or who would be.
I think it's usually Dembele, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be Dembele.
I'll say Dembele wasn't on the pitch, I don't think, at the time. Or maybe it just come on, one of the two.
No.
Yeah.
But it was a bad pin. It was a bad pin. No getting around it. It was
gone are the days of Jamie Vardy and Ronald Koeman just smashing pins down the middle.
I know, man. Jamie Vardy was my favorite, man. That guy just did not take the piss. Yeah, he didn't want to do the nice step. He just went bang, smacked it as hard as he can. Absolutely love that guy's pens, man. But yeah, it was crazy. What a game.
To a certain extent, that's how Haaland takes them. He just kicks them really, really hard. He does try to place them, in those corners. Yeah. But yeah, so I just get up there and kick the mess out of it. make the keeper make a save.
Yeah, crazy. All right, then, guys, we'll smash up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed, man. We're speaking about how do we get City back on top. We'll speak about obviously securing Champions League with a win this weekend at Southampton, man. But shout out Alan in the chat as well. It says stay humble. All right, bro. If I was an Arsenal fan now, honestly, I just would not be on. I'd delete Twitter, delete all the social medias, not be on YouTube, and just maybe hibernate, bro. There's no reason for Arsenal fans to be on any social media now for the rest of the season. Because they're getting absolutely rinsed right now, man. But shout out Craig Parktime in the chat as well. We're speaking about some signings. I don't know if you guys seen it in the last stream, but apparently City are interested in Tijani Reinders. Now he has signed a contract at AC Milan. Don't know if there's any sort of release clause in there or whatever. But yeah, where are you guys at with this midfield? Obviously, Gibbs White's a big talking point. We spoke about that quite a lot on the channel. Wirtz, obviously, we got the news come out yesterday from Build, but not the best source, saying that he wants to go Bayern and he's chosen Bayern. Now this Reinders thing. Let me start with Ed, and then just get involved, man. Ed, what you saying about this midfield rebuild, bro? Where do you want to see it go?
Man, to me that's our number one focus point this summer, man. I know a lot of people are concerned about fullbacks, goalkeeper, but we got to get this midfield right if we want to go anywhere next season, in my opinion. Of course, you want to get Wirtz. I'm not going to trust anything coming out of Germany right now when it comes to this player until Fabrizio or until one of the top tier sources tells me he's made a decision. If we get him, we get him. If not, the club, that's when we got to see what Beyond and them have on the list, right? He's my number one choice for that 10 spot. I think he's everyone's number one choice for that 10 spot. And he's a fantastic player. He provides a lot of what we're looking for. And, you know, we need some refreshment in the squad. Just for competitiveness, just for mentality, hunger. I feel like that's what we're missing from some of our players right now. When you're talking about the 8, I mean, Reinders, LB, I think last time we talked about Reinders, right? What he could bring to the squad. When you're talking about more of a creative 8, a goal-scoring 8. Morgan Gibbs White is something different than that. You know, he's more of a deep line type, I would say more defensive. That can probably get the ball and get it to your 10, get it to your wingers and let them do the scoring and the creativity. It just depends on where the board wants to take this midfield. Do they want more of a physical midfield? Do they want more of a tech midfield? But I'm glad to see Rodri back on the pitch. I don't know if anybody else is, but I'm glad to see him back. We definitely missed that guy.
I'm going to cry tears of joy when he makes the squad on Saturday.
You're driving on Saturday. Yeah.
I don't think he should.
I don't.
Not Saturday. Whoa,
I'm with Tarek.
I don't think he should.
Not Saturday, but I'm just glad to see him out on the grass. You know, out with the guys because you can tell he misses it, man. You can tell he wants to be out there with them. I know LB. You guys talk about on the other panel show the captain. He's my captain next year. Yeah, for me.
I've changed my mind.
I want my Ballon d'Or winner to be the captain.
Yeah. Nah, he's been in training. So apparently, right, when City released that photo of him in training, like last week or whatever, he'd already been in first team training for 2 weeks. At that point, City just hid it from the cameras and that. But I think something was happening with some sort of like open day, so they had to basically just do it anyway. But I'm not sure. Squad, I don't know about squad. I don't know if he's going to be in the squad. I am nervous, but if the doctors say he's fine to play, then he'll be in the squad, right? But I am just very cautious. So these doctors have got to be like bang on here. Yeah, the doctors have got to be bang on. They can't be saying he's fine when he's not fine. So they've got to make sure they're 100% right on this.
What I don't want to see is what we've seen from complete loss. From Oscar Bob, where thank you. Yeah, where he has come back, gotten re-injured in training, gone back out, come back re-injured. So I don't want to see that. I would rather he just stay out. Don't even plan to play him this season. The season's almost over with. Just know, hey, going into the Club World Cup, that's where you're going to get your minutes, and that's where you're going to get back up to speed in preparation for the new season. Maybe that doesn't make sense because it is a trophy on the line, but I'm okay with that. I would rather, wait and have him healthy, put him in those situations, even if it means we don't win that trophy, as opposed to playing him early and taking that risk.
No, I hear it.
I personally think there's no such thing as too much rest for the guy. For one, he's coming off an injury. For two, he's been played into the ground for pretty much every season since we lost the Champions League final, because that was the season where Fernandinho became near unplayable. I don't know. I'm just so scarred in multiple sports by seeing long injury after long injury that I just want us to take this one seriously. Don't bring him back in. If we can't beat Southampton without him, there are more serious problems than being able to play without Rodri. Like, if we can't beat Southampton without him, fold the club. And then after that, Champions League should be done. So just wait for the FA Cup final at the very least. I'm just very, very paranoid about this whole thing.
I need to see Rodri get on the pitch for the FA Cup final and hope we win it.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing Rodri lift that FA Cup final, man. It's gonna hit like crack, man. It's gonna be so good to see. It's gonna be so good to see, man. I need that. Yeah, but going back to this midfield rebuild then, right? So you know what, Ed? Yeah, when I talk about the 8 and the goals and the goal involvements, I don't want to get it twisted. Yeah, I'm not asking that player to get like 15, 20 GA or goals. Yeah, that's a GA goal. I don't want I would like it, but I'm not asking my 8 to get 15. I think they need to get between, at the low end, 7 to 13. I don't think that's like an unrealistic expectation. I think that's quite fair. But if they're playing 40, 50 games a season, bro, I think asking that player to get 7 goals on a bare minimum is more than reasonable. Just to chip in.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's just now let me ask you this, right? If we have a front line of Marmoush, Holland, Foden, Wirtz, How many goals you think he's scoring?
A lot.
So
50 at least
65, yeah, something like 60.
So I'm saying,
minimum.
I think Morgan Gibbs White can. I mean, I know a lot of people says he can't shoot, but the one against us in the semifinal, that shot was nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think he can, and plus with how we're going to play, he's probably going to be in around the box, so he probably is going to chip in and go here and there. But that's what I'm saying. Are we asking our 8 to do that, or are we asking him more to cover for all those guys and just unleash them?
I think, well, the priority is covering. The priority is box to box. The priority for me is helping out Rodri. But part of that role for me is to chip in with the odd goal. And I think, like I say, I think minimum 7 to 8 goals in that position is more than reasonable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I say, this guy, there's 38 Premier League games. Let's say he plays 33, right? With this 8 games in the Champions League. Yeah, that's just the group stage. We're probably going to get to at least the round of 16 or the knockouts or the playoffs, whatever. That's another 2. Let's say he plays 7. This guy's going to play easy 40 games. Easy. I think asking for 8 goals in a team that City dominate the ball is more than reasonable. And this is why I'm a little bit worried about some Forest fans telling me he's not the best at shooting, because you really kind of need a player that is good at shooting. Now, I don't know whether they're just trying to make me not be happy about the signing by telling me he's shit and tell me all this negative stuff. I don't know. I've not seen him enough yet, but they're telling me that. But maybe they're just being, you know what I mean, like hating on it.
Well,
but he needs to be able to have a good long shot as well.
5-6 goals right now. So you're asking him to only give you 3-4 more? I mean, that's totally
exactly. That's completely reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when Kovacic is not the best at shooting, as proved by his historical goal record. So I don't know, man. Do you think that we would get this Tijani Reinders thing? Is quite interesting though. This Tijani Reinders, because is Tijani Reinders coming in with Gibbs White? I think we all agree Gibbs White's probably done, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So if Gibbs White's done, is Tijani Reinders coming in with Wirtz and Gibbs White, or is this the Wirtz replacement? Is that story from yesterday legitimate? And we're going, all right, we've lost out on Wirtz, let's go for Reinders. Would we sign all 3 in one summer? What do you reckon?
No, well, first off, you need to get rid of midfielders. I know the last few weeks have kind of clouded some people's judgment, and it's like, oh, all right, all 4 of them, they're doing great. We're winning games. Beating Everton and Wolves is very different than playing Real Madrid and Liverpool and all that. And these same players that are beating, Everton and whatever, they're the ones who also went 1-13. Same 4 midfielders. So until we start getting rid of these midfielders, who Pep is proving right now he is playing in front of new players. I think we're going to run into the same problems unless we start selling some of these midfielders. So I think right now our midfield's really crowded. And if you keep adding more midfielders to it, what are you going to do? Did you pay 60 million for Nico G to not put him in the squad next season because you're going to have Gundogan and Kovacic there? I mean, De Bruyne's leaving, but then yesterday everybody was like, oh, well, maybe they'll re-sign him if they don't get Wirtz. I'm like, no. I'm sorry. I'm devastated that Kev's leaving, but it's time. It's just time. And it's time for Gundogan as well, even though he triggered his contract. So first step for me is getting rid of midfielders and then bringing new ones in. Because if Nico G can't even get a game, and I think he's the reason why our season turned around, is him playing in that midfield. If he can't get on the pitch outside of last 5 minutes of a game, we're going to have the same problems last season as we did, or the same problems this season. We'll have them next season if we don't start moving some of these slower, older midfielders on.
Yeah, they can only stay at the club if they're literally just doing 15-minute stints, 10-minute stints here. They can't be starting. With all due respect, Gundogan is going to be 35 years old in October. Yeah. If he's staying, cool, but he cannot start matches. And it sounds bad, isn't it, right? But it's just the facts. He can't be starting matches. We're meant to be going for Premier Leagues and Champions League. You can't have a 35-year-old starting games for you. He should be on the bench. He should be coaching the younger players, do the coaching badges. Yeah, he's been speaking today as well about potentially becoming an assistant manager for Pep in a year or so. Yeah, so maybe that's something that he can start to. But he's got to be squad rotator. Get Kerkez bet on it. Yeah? You can't be buying Nico Gonzalez for 50 million, 60 million quid and then starting Kovacic ahead of him, because that's what he's doing at the moment. And I know people
And
are saying,
Bernardo.
well, we're winning right now, but next year, like, we can't be starting Kovacic and Gundogan over Nico Gonzalez. Otherwise, for me, that just calls into question, why the hell did we sign this guy?
Yeah,
Well, there was also that quote from Pep saying that he wants Bernardo to stay because he wants to start him every game next season. He wants him to play every game. I'm like, how is a new player going to learn? I think Morgan Gibbs-White is incredibly redundant if you have Bernardo, because I think they're I know Bernardo's way more technical than Morgan Gibbs-White, but if you're just going to have him as the midfield engine, it's like, then you'll have two of them. Like, and then we know Bernardo will just play all the games, and then Morgan Gibbs-White came for nothing. We spent all that money for nothing. Like, I don't think he's coming here to play cup games. I think he's coming here to start games, like most games. And he can't do that if Bernardo's in front of him. Because Pep will always go with his guys.
I saw Steve and Craig Party Time put in the chat about the comments that I had saw earlier today from Gundo, saying not only does he want to keep playing, but he wants to keep playing, 2 or 3 years beyond next season.
Go to Turkey, mate.
I'm like, then if that's the case, then you need to go now so that you can find your team and get in and have those last 2-3 seasons with that new team. I don't know that you stay here for another year and then, like, I'm sure somebody will give him another contract. But if that's what you want, go ahead and go now. Again, no disrespect to Gundo, but we all agree, at least I think we all agree, he should not be a starting midfielder, nor should he be one that we are reliant upon. And my concern, and I said the same thing that Kels did, was that we cannot allow this short-term turnaround to overcloud and to cloud our judgment on what we saw the entire rest of the season. We have to make changes, and just because it's turned around towards the end, and quite honestly, our schedule has gotten a little bit easier, so we can't allow that to cause us to say, okay, well, everything's fine. No, everything's not fine. We need to make adjustments. We need to make changes, and we need to do that quickly. And I think we need to be decisive in the transfer window. And part of that is saying to Gundo, to Bernardo, it's probably time for you guys to move on. And that's okay.
I don't mind keeping one of them, yeah. If it is literally just
I didn't take. I was assuming we were going to keep Kova. Now again, maybe that's not the case, and we get one of those other two. But I think Kova probably has the most to still offer. Bernardo can in moments. Bernardo can in moments, but I think it's definitely time. Gundo has to go.
I don't think
that sounds bad.
I think so. I agree with everything that you've just said there, Tarek, on those 3 players. Yeah, but I think City are looking at it slightly different, because I agree that Kovacic for me offers the most right now out of all 3 players. However, if we are right and that these players are literally only going to play 10 minutes here or there, I think what they'll do is they'll go, well, in that case, then they're not coming on to change the game. They're coming on to dead the game. Kovacic, you can probably still get 10, 15 million for. Bernardo, you can probably get 20 million for. You ain't getting nothing for Ilkay Gundogan, with all due respect. Right. The guy's 35. So what I think probably what they're thinking is, okay, we're going to have a big spending summer, possibly 300 million, maybe more. We need to recoup as much money as possible. And if we can get 20 million, 25 for Bernardo, that's straight profit, yeah? If you can get 10, 15 million for Kovacic, you're up to 30, 35 million quid. And then you just keep Gundogan, who, is not as good as Kovacic. But remember, Gundogan will only be coming off the bench for final 10 minutes to see games out. He's not going to be coming off the bench to get us a winner, because that's not going to happen. Yeah, so I think for me, whilst I agree with everything you're saying, sure, I think Kovacic is the best player to keep in that situation. I think City will just go, in this scenario, we need as much money as possible. Get rid of Kovacic and Bernardo because it brings the cash in. And Gundo can just play 5-10 minutes here.
So the only thing that I will say to that, because again, I understand what you're saying and it makes sense. My only concern, though, is we've already had games this season where we've had to keep players that I think are able to contribute. They haven't been able to make the bench. They had to be up in the stands. Mm-hmm. And if we keep him, that's just one more, because again, if he stays, Pep's not going to have him in the stands. He's going to have somebody else. He's going to have.
That's where I think Pep needs to do that. So I think Pep needs to sit Gundogan down and say, listen, happy to keep you around here. Your experience is going to be vital with Kevin De Bruyne leaving, a couple of other guys leaving. However, you are squad rotator. Yeah. And if there is a situation where I've got a full squad, You're not ahead of Rodri, obviously. You're not ahead of Nico Gonzalez. You're not going to be ahead of Morgan Gibbs-White. You're not going to be ahead of Foden. You're not going to be ahead of... So you are going to be on the bench. He'll go either, I'm happy with that, chilling, in which case, good news, or he's not going to be happy with that, he'll have to leave. But that, by the way, that'll be the same with Kovacic, by the way, and maybe Bernardo. Like, it sounds bad, innit? But whoever that person is that's staying, because I think two of them leave. I think two of them leave, one of them stays. Whoever it is that stays, they need to be told that, like, you are now just a rotated player and you might be in the stands for one game because, I'm sorry, the club has to move on. The club has to be thinking forward, and Rodri's our future. Nico Gonzalez is our future. Gibbs-White, as much as some people might not like it, is going to be our future. With all due respect, Kovacic, Gundogan and Bernardo, they're not our future anymore. They're not. So that, I think you've got to have that honest conversation to accept that out from the beginning and say, listen, don't be moaning at me when you're in the stands for a big game, because that might happen, you know?
Yeah, but do you think Pep will actually do that? Do you think he'll actually sit Bernardo down and say, I'm going to put you in the stands for a game? He'll never do that to Bernardo.
Well, not only that, but leaving the younger developing players out at the expense of Gundogan when there are injuries. Is he going to turn to Gundogan first? Because that's my worry.
He showed it this season that he did. Remember, 1 in 13, and McAtee barely got 10 minutes. All I remember him playing is that Feyenoord game. That's the only time I remember seeing McAtee in that entire stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we have a little PTSD with Pep sometimes, but I think next season there's going to be a lot of questions around, even if we might not think about it, there's going to be a lot of questions around Pep. I think Pep is going to go out and try to prove something next season, and I don't think he's going to let a Kovacic, a Gundogan, or a Bernardo impact how he's viewed at City. I think he wants to win more. I mean, we know how intense Pep is. Pep wants to win more than a lot of our players. And if I think he's going to make some tough decisions. He's been ruthless before. We've seen him be ruthless at Barcelona. We've seen him be ruthless at Bayern. Why can't he be ruthless at Man City?
I think he'll be ruthless this summer. I just don't think he was prepared to be ruthless in during the season when he should have been. But I said it in the past. It's Pep's strength is also his weakness, is his loyalty. He was too loyal to players, and he's come out basically and said that he was too loyal to players now, hasn't he? By saying he should have put the academy players in the squad back in October. But I think this summer it's down to Pep, and it's Pep's man management here, by the way, is going to be very important and crucial to our success going forward, because he's got to have those conversations. Yeah, he's got to have those conversations, man. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, for me, I want a bigger squad. I want a better squad. And if that's going to mean that, yeah, some players are going to be on. And you know what winds me up as well is when people say, well, LB, if we have this big squad, then players are going to want to leave next summer because they're not going to play, right? Well, that's happened for the last 4 years. Guess what? We've been winning, so who cares? Did I like to see Alvarez leave? Yeah, in the summer? No, but we just won the league. We won the treble the year before. Did I like seeing Mahrez leave? No, but we won the treble. What would you rather? Would you rather have a small? So what are you saying? You'd rather have a small squad where everyone's happy, but we don't win nothing and we go 1 winning 14? Or would you rather be winning stuff? And yeah, players are not going to be happy because players want to play. That's part of football. That's part of man management. That's up to Pep to manage the squad.
If you're too weak-minded to want to compete for your spot, I don't want you here anyway.
Facts.
Yeah. You're at formerly the best club in the world, a club who wants to get back to that status. If you're coming here expecting just to have your spot penciled in for you, have a starting spot just there for you, no, you're not mentally strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
Cancelo got thrown out the team by Rico a couple of games. He was gone in a flash. Mm-hmm. That's the ruthless side of Pep I need. I need Pep to see that these players aren't competing for their spots, because that's just as much of an issue as players who aren't good enough anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But Danny, let me tell you, this is why I have some faith. I'm already seeing some players linked to other clubs. We got Stones been linked to Everton. We got Grealish linked to Napoli. So it shows the board is, trying to be proactive, because there's going to be a lot of players in and out. So it's good to see them being proactive.
The problem you got as well, yeah, some of these players are on big cash.
Yeah.
Big. You got Bernardo Silva's on £300,000 a week. No one's giving him that respectfully. So City have to pay some of that off. Grealish is on £300,000 a week. I think people are saying Stone's on 250. I think people are saying.
Gundogan's on like 220 or something, or 230.
Yeah, I mean, why is on that? I don't know. But yeah, this is one of the issues you've got here with these contract. Players. That some of these players that you try to get rid of are mad money. Mad money. Not mad money in terms of like when they got the money, obviously like they deserve the money, right? But now they don't deserve the they're not worthy of that cash now because they're not putting in those performances. It's gonna be tough to City get rid of, but City is gonna have to take the L, man, on that and just pay some of that cash off because you need to move on. You need to improve the squad. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why they got rid of Kevin De Bruyne, because you can't be giving De Bruyne 400 grand a week, really, can you? When he's not fit that much, I think, but they've got to make sure they get a replacement. If they, I would not be happy if they do not land Wirtz when they've told Kevin De Bruyne to do one. I'll just say that right now. Yeah, if they land Wirtz, yeah, obviously it's sad to see De Bruyne go, but I think it's probably the right decision. But if you don't land Wirtz and you told De Bruyne to leave, I mean, that's kind of crazy, in my opinion. So you better land Wirtz.
What if Echeverri was the Kev replacement all along?
Well, you know what I mean? I think that he could do with getting on the bench first. He has made the bus, as we know. He's made the bus now. He's always on the winning side in the training games. You see that?
Again today.
Yep. He won again in training today, Echeverri. Do you know what I mean? But he don't even get a game, so I don't know what's going on. I think he will. I think he'll get a game before the end of the season. I think as soon as this top five's boxed off, which it might be boxed off this weekend. I don't know if it's official, but if we win this weekend, it's pretty much done. I think he might get... He'll be benched. He'll get on, I reckon. He'll get some minutes because he's not played since... When was that tournament, Danny? January?
Late January, mid-February, yeah.
He's not played for like 3 months.
He's not played a single competitive minute since then.
He's not played. And he's not played for the academy. He's not played for the academy, has he?
He is not.
I thought he did.
No,
that was Oscar Bob, sorry.
No, Victor Hayes played for the academy.
Yeah, Victor Hayes did.
Oh, Victor Hayes did.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not concerned about it, because I feel like Pep's plan all along is we're bringing these folks in the January window. Yes, we're trying to turn it around and we're trying to win, which is why you see a Marmouche getting minutes. But I really think it was with an eye towards next season and starting to get them bedded in ahead of the new season so that we can hit the ground running when the new season starts. And so I think whether it's Echeverri, whether it's Hayes, whether it's Kuzanov, whatever, I think we will know in the summer what they're going to do. I think this was probably in Pep's mind always kind of a throwaway. He wasn't really intending to use them this season, even though we all enjoyed seeing Kuzanov go out there and do well. And so I just think that it does suck to not see them get minutes, but I just think in Pep's mind, they were never getting minutes. They probably came in and knew that. And it's like, okay, be ready for the summer. And then we'll see who's good enough to stay around.
Makes no sense why we paid extra money to get Victor Hayes in January to play him.
I don't know if this is true, but some people said it's because of the homegrown. Get him in, so he's homegrown.
Still 18 or whatever it is.
I mean, I think he hit 19 like a couple weeks after he came, so I don't think he's going to be able to be here for.
No, he's not going to be able to hit it.
Well, if that's the case.
Do you get to be 2 years academy trained before 18?
I think it's 3 years, guys. Is it 3 years?
Three.
No.
Yeah,
because I looked at the rules and I was like, nah, I don't think that's right. And as well, it doesn't count in January. January doesn't count. It's got to be a full season. Yeah. So it wouldn't make any. So I don't really know. Yeah, I don't get where City did that, to be honest with you.
I think it was just because other clubs were.
I think that's the bigger piece.
Trying to get him.
Craig just said in the chat, Real Madrid wanted him, so we moved.
Yeah, sometimes you got to stockpile talents too.
Yeah.
You got to have talent to go out, develop, bring in.
We could have done a sign and loan back though, no?
Yeah, I would have liked that a bit more.
Sign him and loan him back to Palmeiras. I could have been watching Palmeiras watch-alongs as well. Would have given me something to do for Brazilian football. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, let me do these super chats. And I want to come to the defense rebuild as well, because I think this is quite an interesting debate, which we've not really had many conversations about it. Yo, shout out to Akash, bro. Says, I can't lie, LB and Danny, I'm still traumatized and reeling from Jacob talking about the zebra batty. Says Akash with a 5. Listen, chat, if you know, you know.
Wild.
Yep. If you know, you know.
As a famous rapper once said, certified lover boy, certified zebraphile.
Yeah, listen, you got to be on those panel shows, man. You know what I mean? They go a little bit west. I can't lie. Big up to Ash. Says, as much as we all love these players and amazing what they've done, Pep has his favourites because he trusts them. Sometimes blind loyalty, in my opinion, says Ash. Bro, I called it from a while ago, bro. I think Pep's one of his biggest strengths is his loyalty, 100% to players. And if you look at the Barcelona connection, yeah, but at the same time, I think when it starts to go south, I think you just get a little bit too loyal to some of the players. But that's loyalty, isn't it? Otherwise, that wouldn't be loyalty. So, yeah, when it's all going well, it's mint. When it doesn't, it doesn't. And shout out to Massimo as well. Says, if we keep the older players, Pep will pick them because they know the system and the rebuild will never happen. Don't let Pep have that option. That's why, for me, get rid of two of them, keep one. And if the one of them's Gundogan, I would be stunned if Pep's playing a 35-year-old ahead of Nico Gonzalez, Wirtz, Gibbs White, Rodri. Right? It's not going to happen. If it does, bloody hell. So, yeah, got to get rid of
he's probably looking at Mkhitaryan on Inter Milan, who's 36 years old and going to the Champions League final.
Acerbi
at 37.
Acerbi as well.
37. 20 years older than Yamal yesterday, and he's chasing him around.
Yeah.
Nah, that was a cold finish as well from Acerbi, man. What a finish that was, honestly. Anyway, guys, smash these likes up if you've not done so already. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as well if you need. Listen, I want to speak about our defense, right? Because I think Vita Hayes gets loaned out in the summer. I want your thoughts on that. And whilst I keep flip-flopping on this, feel free to cook me chat on the flip-flop, yeah. But I previously said keep Ake and Stones. But can you keep Stones? He's never fit.
Well, that might be a slight benefit, because if he's injured all the time, he won't take minutes away from players who need it. Because you can just count on him getting injured, and then he'll be out of the squad for 6 weeks, and somebody else can play those minutes. Whereas somebody like a Kanji is probably not going to be healthy. He'll play all the minutes, and whoever needs to develop will get stuck on the bench or have to go out on loan. So this problem we're having with the midfield, there being too many players in front of other players who need the time to develop. Exact same thing happening in the back line.
I don't know, man. I feel like Stone's on 250k. I mean, the problem you've got with who's gonna pay him 250k. Who's gonna pay him 150k? I think he's played 1,000 minutes this year, Stones. It kills me, man. I genuinely think Stones is like a generational world-class centre-back, man, but the guy's never fit.
No, but Everton, I will say this about Everton. Everton, they got new ownership in, and I think they just brought is another private guy. So they're gonna inject some cash into Everton this summer, I believe. So I think that's a possibility.
Are they really gonna buy Stones, who's never fit though? That's the issue.
But you got to think about who they have.
Out of sentimentality.
Yeah, they already have Braithwaite, who's injured a lot too. Do they need two of them?
If they bring him back, it's just about sentimental. You know, hey, this is where he started his career. He can finish up here with us as well. I don't know that I mean, again, when fit, yeah, he's probably one of the best, if not the best, center backs in the league. But no one should count on him being healthy. Now, again, if Everton want to make a move for him, I'm all for that. So feel free. But I just don't think that anyone should count on him being available more than, not even 50% of the season. I just don't think that's realistic.
If we did get rid of Stones, that would leave us with Gavadio, Diaz, Huzanov, Ake, Akanji. I think that's more than fine. Do you agree?
Say those names again.
Gvardiol, Diaz, Huzanov, Ake, Akanji.
So that means Juma stays out on loan.
Yeah, I'm loaning Juma Bar and I'm loaning Vita Hayes. I think that's fine. That's 5 centre backs. I think that's more than reasonable.
But when we loan these players out, find a team that plays a similar system to us. Because I love Juma Bar. He's playing in a back five. He's never in possession. And when you're in a back five, like I said the last time we were on the same panel, you can hide behind the other center backs. Not that he really does it, but he does a lot of like charging out 20, 30 yards to like act defensively. If you do this in the back four, you're leaving the team very exposed if it goes wrong. So I just want to see him sort of like dry rehearse our system before he actually plays in it. I don't want this to be the first time he plays in the back four, because at Valladolid as well, they play the exact same low block back five system. That's my worry.
So question for you, Danny. We obviously took Kuzanov from there. We sent Juma Ba over there kind of as a replacement. how does he play in that system versus how Kuzanov was playing in that system prior to the switch?
He's a lot less like involved in the build-up. He's usually their like deepest lying center back when they're totally under pressure. But like in transition, he'll sort of charge out and try to win the ball sometimes. But that is, like I said, a worry for me. If you charge out while playing with only one other center back, you're going to leave the team exposed if it goes wrong. I don't know. Because that was my thing with Marmoush. I was a little bit concerned about the Marmoush signing because Frankfurt plays so differently to how we do. Luckily, it's worked out for the most part. But again, it's all about systems.
I'd loan Bar out, right, and loan Vita Hayes, because then for me, the year after, so 2026, I'd then let Ake go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe because he'd still be in contract. He'd have a year, so you might be able to get like 10, 15 million for him, whatever. And then at that point, you might want to bring one of them back in to replace Ake, because if you can do that, like, only if they're good enough. Yeah, I don't do no sentimental stuff yet. Or if they're good enough, bring them in. You don't even have to buy a centre back in that situation. But I'd loan Vita Hayes and back. I think having 5 centre backs, Gvardiol, Diaz, Ake, Huzanov, and Akanji is more than enough. Is more than enough.
But LB, I think Ake I think he's 26 and Akanji's 27. That's when their contract ends. I think Ake only has a year left.
No, I'm looking at an extension when we signed Yashko. I think he's 20. He's either 27 or 28.
Yeah, Ake is 27. Yeah, Akanji's 27. They're both 27.
Yeah. So you could sell Ake next year and get 10, 15, 20 mil to that. Again, help finance a new signing or whatever. But the question is that I want to get like a legit answer from you guys in the chat as well. Are those 5 players? Are you comfortable with those 5 players? Do you not like the personnel? Do you think we need more as the 5 centre backs? Is that enough? And do you like them names, or do you think we need to do better? Do you think we need more? What are you saying?
My only concern is I want Yashko as a center back. I don't want him as team at left back anymore.
I agree.
So my concern is with the Akanji here. He might play a lot more center back than Yashko, and Yashko will be stuck out left again. And I really just don't want to see that. I have an agenda here on Yashko. I want him to be a center back. That's my agenda.
I do. I want
him to be whoever's in his way needs to go, in my opinion. So if we start seeing next season, it looks like they're all center backs, and then Yashko's stuck on left back and Akanji's in center back, I'm going to be really angry. So
I know Gvardiol's been mint at left back, but he's been superb at centre back, like unbelievable. I can't see a world in which Pep puts him back to left back, and that's quite interesting because I don't know if you've seen the links yet, but we've been linked with like Nori in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, that makes me very happy. I'm very encouraged by that news, and I know there were like Theo Hernandez links earlier, very very small ones. It didn't go anywhere, but seeing more concrete left back rumors is making me very excited, but I still just in the back of my head, I'm like, oh yeah, then we'll sign that guy and they'll get injured. Yashko will be stuck out there anyway.
Danny, what you said about those 5? Do you think that's enough? Do you think it's good enough quality wise?
Yes, but when Ake goes, need another left-footed center back. I'm so unbelievably on the train of left footers on the left, right footers on the right. If Ake goes, your left foot Gvardiol is your only lefty. Now, if you keep him for maybe 1-2 more years, you could have Caden Braithwaite or Stefan Mafuni ready. Not that I'm super optimistic. Yeah, that's a potential thing. Or you just sign an actual left center back. Braithwaite's a left center back. I'm not huge on him. But he is a lefty. But
and he's homegrown, because that's going to be an issue when Stones and Ake leave, because we don't really have the homegrown. We're very borderline on that, especially if some of these guys leave.
I have the same concerns with our attack. Like about 70% of our attackers are left-footed as well. We don't have a lot of right-footedness in our attack. That's why
O'Reilly will be homegrown too, by the way, in a year or two.
Of course.
Oh yeah, that's true. He'll be old enough. And what is he? 20 now, and he has to be what? 22?
21.
21. Okay, so next season he'll be homegrown.
But he's been here since.
And Rico should be too. Rico should be 21 soon because he just turned 20.
That's an interesting topic, though.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that probably later. But center backs, I'm good with the 5. I think 5 is enough, to be honest, if we are having fullbacks. I think with Vardio, I think we'll see rotation. I think sometimes he might be a center back, sometimes he might be a left back. Because I can see him fitting into how we play now too. I mean, with fullbacks up the pitch, inverting, overlapping, we've seen him consistently at a high level at both positions. So I think we'll probably see him in both areas. Yeah, I'm really interested in what Danny talked about, that center back in the academy. Maybe he gets the opportunity once, Stones, Ake, and Akanji leaves. And you already have Ball and Hayes. So I think that's more than enough planning ahead for the future for our center back position. But yeah, I'm good with the 5 we have.
Yeah. All right then. So then that's your 5. So John Stones would leave. I mean, you'd have to find a club for him. But he would leave. Vita Hayes loaned. Juma Bart loaned. Okay, fullbacks then. Currently, we got Nunes, O'Reilly, Rico Lewis. Don't think I'm missing anyone. For me, you need at least 2. To be honest, well, I'd say maybe 3, but you need at least 2. You need a left back and a right back, in my opinion, because like as good as Nico O'Reilly's done, like we have to be balanced and fair here. He's also had a couple of games where defensively, I don't think he's looked like amazing. And he's only young, and he's not a left back; he's a midfielder. So I think you need a left back, and I think you need a right back. Now, this Nori that we've been linked with, for Wolves, I'm getting quite interested in this because he's only 23. He's already mad experienced. He's been playing for Wolves for at least 4 years, I think. And I think he's a very, very decent left back, and he's only 23. So I think the potential you've got if you sign Nori in terms of like the growth that you can get from him as a player is mad. The right back thing's interesting because people saying, well, you could play Cambiasso right back. He's only played, I checked his stats on Transfer Mat. He's only played right back like 30 times. Now, it does say he's played right midfield like 50 times. Now, that might be like a right back in a 5. So maybe he's played like 70 games. But I'm not sure. I don't know about this Cambiasso, man. I'm hearing mixed things, innit, about Cambiasso. But yeah, Ait Nori. Let's talk about Ait Nori. Tariq, man. What do you think about Ait Nori? Would you take him? The price is probably going to be around 40 mil, I reckon. Maybe 45.
Yeah, so I think he's a good player. I think for that price, it's almost like, it's no brainer. I think there would be some that would say, can he defend? Especially because I think they kind of play a different system, but can he defend is in a 4 as a fullback? And then I guess the question I would have is how in different side of the pitch, but when we were talking about what's
have you logged off?
What can you what's the guy from
Bournemouth?
No,
Kerkez?
sorry. No. Sorry. It's been a long day. From Bayer Leverkusen, former academy, Frimpong, right? We complain about Frimpong as an option. Yeah. I apologize. We complain about Frimpong as an option because we say, well, he can't defend. He's great going forward, but he can't defend. I think maybe Nori is better defensively than him, but I don't know that it's tons. And I feel like everyone was so anti Frimpong when that conversation, a lot of people were anti Frimpong when that conversation was being had. So I just don't know if he's a great fit, but I would love to see him because I think he can get forward. He can pass. So I think it would be a win-win, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see how much of a split it causes in the fan base, just like the Morgan Gibbs White, right? There's a big divide in the fan base. I think this would be similar, if not, maybe not as difficult.
I like him, mate. I like Nori. And listen, I can't really.
I think he's good.
Yeah, I can't speak too much about his defense because, again, I've not really watched that much Wolves, man, but I don't really remember ever watching him and thinking, mate, you're getting absolutely smoked. And then you look at these numbers here. This is Ryan Nori. Shout out Andrew as well in the chat. Sending me this, yeah. This is Ryan Nori versus Kerkez, yeah. So more goals, more assists, more chances created, better passing accuracy, better duels contested, better tackles made, take-ons completed better, aerial duels better, ground duels better, duels won better, possession lost better.
Yeah, pretty much
all the stats. Now, obviously, stats don't always tell the story. Maybe Kerkez will be a better player than him, but the stats are saying Ryan Nori is better than Kerkez. And I just think that, like, if you're looking for an experienced player, because he is experienced, he's played Premier League now for a few years, who's got big sky-high potential, he's an option. Then do you go and get Cambiasso as well, who can play left and right? So then effectively you've got 3 players that can play left. You've got Aït-Nouri, Cambiasso and O'Reilly. Your right backs, I still think you're a little weak right back, because as good as Nunes is doing, I still think like the Bozo gene for me personally is very strong. And I do think he's doing pretty good right now. But even against Wolves the other day, first 2 minutes of the game, he gave the ball away that cost us like a big chance. So I don't know if that is like enough on the right, I think. But then again, you could say, well, you've still got Akanji. And Akanji can play right back.
He can play right back. Also, Nathan Ake can play left back too. Because if we're going to do that kind of shape that we did against Wolves, where the left back is asked to defend, Ake would be perfect for that. And we probably wouldn't use that shape all the time. It'd probably just be in some games. And so if Ake would only have to do that for some games, maybe he stays healthier if he's rotated more.
Yeah, man, I guess maybe it would be all right then. Maybe it would be all right.
I know last time, this is the American show, so of course we talked about Robinson, right?
I was about to say that.
I know how Kel feels about Robinson.
I love Jedi. He's my guy.
I think Robinson is better defensively than Nouri, but I feel like Nouri is better on the ball. And I'm not saying Robinson isn't good on the ball, but I think Nouri is better.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I think he would fit better. And he can invert, he can overlap. And
Jedi's crosses are great.
I will put Cambiasso on the right because I was just searching up something. And I think this is why we might be not going for Frimpong, is that he said that when he's on the right, he likes to invert into the midfield. And I've never seen Frimpong ever able to do that. I've never seen him.
He's more of a winger, isn't it?
So I can see Pep,
just quickly, just to interrupt you, just rapid though, Ed. Yeah, in this current system, Frimpong suits the system more than Cambiasso on that right hand side, because that's what Nunes is doing. Nunes is bombing down the wing. Sometimes he'll overlap, as he did at Everton for the assist. Like that is based that system. And this is the thing. I don't know, Ed, if Pep's going to stick with this system going forward next season. But if he is, Frimpong, as much as people want to cook Frimpong in the chat, Frimpong is a great player for this current system in terms of the attacking, because that's what Nunes is doing. The question is Frimpong good enough at defending? And I don't know, because I've not seen him since academy days. I've watched him a bit at Celtic, and then that was it. I've never watched him again. And whenever I watch him for Leverkusen, people say, what's he like for Leverkusen? Does he get cooked defensively? Bro, this guy ain't defending. He's up the pitch. He's like a winger. I've seen him play left wing in a game this season, like playing as a striker. Like, this guy's never in the right back position half the time I watch him. I've only watched Leverkusen maybe 6 times this year. So you'd have to speak to someone who watches that team on the reg. But I can't answer the question if he's good enough defensively, because I've never seen him really do the defending bit. But attacking-wise, he'd be perfect.
Yeah, I saw Craig in the chat say the plan was for Aït-Nouri on the left, Cambiasso potentially on the right.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that.
But just because he can invert doesn't mean he can't overlap either. I just think he gives you that solidity at times that we're probably going to need if we do play a 2-10 system and you invert him and you have Foden inverts ahead of them. And
I'm just not sure Cambiasso has the pace to overlap. So if he's overlapping, I'm not sure if the recovery pace is there.
But he can cross, Danny. He can cross.
He is a good crosser, yeah. But recovery pace is a huge thing for me. That's why Walker worked so well back in the day, when Walker was actually good at overlapping.
Yeah,
he could get back in a snap of a finger.
And that's why I want to see Huzanov be given a go in the Club World Cup next to Gvardiol. I want to see what the better partnership is here between Gvardiol and Diaz, or Gvardiol and Huzanov, because I think the pros of having Huzanov and that pace, it might outweigh Diaz's leadership and what he do. He might not do. And this is why I want to try it. It's just a trial experiment. But, Gvardiol's not slow, but he ain't a rapid guy in the world, And obviously, if we're playing this mad high line, The truth is, you do need a fast player at the back. And we used to have Walker, and how many times did Walker bail us out of stuff? All the time.
So many times.
More times than we can probably remember. Right now, we've not got a player that can do that because we don't have that much pace at the back. You know what I mean? In fact, shout out Nunes because he did do that in the last game. Do you remember when I think Diaz gave the ball away on that, and then the guy went through on goal? And Nunes, if Nunes didn't come over and get that ball, that guy would have been in on goal. So shout out Nunes, but obviously Nunes is not a long-term right back for us. So yeah, I want to try out Huzanov at centre back in the Club World Cup personally.
LB, where do you see Nunes playing if he's not a long-term right back for us, though? That's why I want to ask, because I feel like there's been so much revisionism on Nunes. I understand the guy is playing. I'm not saying he's playing like awful, but he's only playing at a satisfactory level.
Yeah,
for us. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's.
And if you're telling me he's not going to be a midfielder, he's not going to be a winger unless we have injury crisis. Does he want to be a right back?
No. So basically, for me, he's going to be a squad rotator, emergency player only, and in 2026, he will 100% leave the football club because he won't play. Yeah. He basically is not going to play next year, bro. But Pep will probably keep him around unless he gets like a mint offer this summer, which he probably won't. Yeah, he'll probably stay around. He'll win a couple trophies next year, hopefully, and then in the summer of 2026, when he realizes that he won't play, he'll leave. It's the same as Phillips. You remember Phillips' second year? He should have gone in that summer, right? But Phillips went, "Oh, I'm going to come back. I'm going to fight for my position." Yeah, that loved the attitude and that, but bro, it was never happening. It's never happening. Nunes is going to do the same. Nunes will stay, but he ain't going to get in the team because Pep won't play him in midfield, and hopefully we'll sort out our wing backs. And remember, the only reason he really got as a winger is because all our wingers were basically injured. Whereas next year, hopefully Savio and Doku don't get injured as much. And Bob, who's not kicked a ball this year, will be back. So he's going to have to get in front of 3 players and Mamouche and Foden. So basically, he ain't going to play next year and he'll leave in the summer of 2026.
Yeah, I think those comments Pep made about him in the midfield is pretty damning to his future. Like, we signed him as a midfield and Pep said he's not clever enough or something. Like, that's just...
Yeah, I actually thought that was mad harsh from Pep Guardiola. I can't lie. Like, not often I criticize that.
Out of line.
I thought that was
weird time to say it too, because he just had like a really good game, and then Pep's like, "Oh, he's terrible in the midfield." I'm like, "Whoa, that's awkward timing."
I think it's just a statement to him. Now, again, I don't know what Pep was doing because again, we all like it's kind of weird timing, but I think it just tells him your only route to time on the pitch is at right back, or in the like an LB said, it's a emergency situation, maybe a early cup round games, those kinds of things. That's the only time you're gonna get on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. And I know he's doing
Craig
good.
Said he's gonna be the third keeper. He's gonna be the third keeper.
Yeah, he's playing good, bro, but he's not playing good enough to start next season, is he? That's the point I'm making. Is that like I think he's doing a pretty good job at the moment, right? But let's be honest, we ain't gonna win Champions League with him at right back. Yeah, that's not trying to slander the guy. It's just the truth. Yeah. So he's doing good now. He deserves credit now because he's playing well. But the facts are, we are going to sign a fullback. He won't play next year, and he will end up leaving in the summer. But I think like it's just one of them. Like he deserves credit, and I've given him a lot of credit over the last couple of weeks because he deserves it. But he ain't going to be our right back next year, isn't it? That's the truth.
No, I'd rather see Kanji be right back than him.
I'm fine with him as a depth piece. I mean, the schedule gets ridiculous in December and towards the end of the season. If he need a warm body to play a dead game, I'm fine having him. But again, high leverage games. I'm just not sure he's good enough. This thing with like timing judgment, he's not good enough long term.
No.
Yeah. All right then. Let me come to some of these chats, man. A couple of other comments some people want us to talk about. Shout out Jace, who says unrelated but Arsenal in the mud. Love to see it. He also says, I beg Nunes' channel is in a Yaya next season, says Jason. Well, he's got to play midfield for that, and he's not.
I don't think that's going to happen.
He's got a 100% penalty record like Yaya did. So there you go.
Fair.
Remember that for the FA Cup final, just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case. Keep Bernardo Silva away from penalties, please. Shout out to a US citizen who says we're going in for the wrong player. Go get Ola Aina. Well, I like this guy, and like he's a homegrown player as well.
Is it Aina on? Oh no, Forest. Sorry. Yeah, I thought he said Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves.
He's a good player, man. Now, apparently, Wolfie was saying that they have a +1 option, so you probably have to pay about 20 mil. But Like, if you're going all out and like finances are a little bit stretched, you could do a lot worse than Olaena, by the way.
He's had a great season.
Yeah, he's a good player, man. And he's homegrown. So again, if you've got homegrown issues, there you go, man.
Well, if we don't get Aitnori, I would strongly suggest we get Andy Robinson because he is homegrown. He's my second choice.
Yeah, this is really interesting. So, Kamaro, are you saying that you want Nunes to be our starting right back next year, bro? Am I missing to? What am I? Do you think that we should just give him a bit more praise, or do you want him to be our starting right back? I'm interested to hear what you're saying because you're backing him up. So, I'll big up for the respect on Nunes, innit? But are you saying that we're being a bit too harsh? We should be giving him more credit, more praise. Or are you putting forward a view that he should be our starting right back next year? I'm interested to know what your opinion is here, man, because your comments are interesting. So let me know in the chat, innit? All right, any more thoughts on the defence? Left back, right back, centre back?
I'm just curious what we classify Rico Lewis as, because we didn't bring him up in the midfield discussion, and we didn't really bring him up in the defense discussion. So, what is Rico Lewis?
He'd be an emergency right back, and his predominant position will be a squad rotating midfielder. I think he's not a bad midfielder, me. I'll say it, me, with chest. I think he's a decent midfielder.
Yeah, he looked really good against Forest in the cup game. I really liked him in that system. And we know he plays really well in the midfield next to Rodri. And Rodri will be back next season. So,
you know what I like about
I just don't know if there's enough game time for him in the midfield.
But he's only young. The thing, what I like about Rico Lewis when he plays midfield is he always tries to go forward.
Yeah.
And the amount of times on games this year I've lost my shit with players going backwards or sideways or whatever. I'm like, go forward, because going backwards causes our shit, yeah? I think Rico Lewis always try to go forward, man. I'm not saying he's going to start week in, week out, but I'd be very hesitant at people saying get rid of him. Very. You have to be his best fan, but keep him as a squad rotator in that midfield, I think right back, nah, I don't think he's it, really. I think, to be honest with you, you know what? I would rather see Nunes at right back, if I'm being completely honest. But in midfield, I think he's a good player. Always try to progress the ball forward. Always looking for that forward pass. Can get a goal. He gets a lot of chances, you know, Rico Lewis. He probably needs to work on his finishing because he could probably get a lot of goals. Remember that goal he scored at Palace early in the season? Great finish. Great finish. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, to answer that question, I think for me, Rico Lewis, keep him in the squad, but predominantly as a midfielder, not a right back.
Yeah.
Why would you keep him or would you get rid of him?
I'd keep him.
Yeah, I'd keep him as well.
I think he's a really valuable squad asset. When there's just some more bodies in the midfield that are bigger and more physical. I think him next to like Gundogan and Bernardo was an abject failure this season because they're all just too little and too small and everybody was easily bullied. But if there's some bigger bodies that he can kind of use as shields and then he can do his thing going forward and doesn't have to worry about defense. I really like him in that midfield and I would keep him for that reason, but I just don't know if he's going to get the game time unless we have a major purge.
He fits the system, like Pep's archetypal system, a lot better than Nunes does. I don't think there's room for both him and Nunes because they're both the sort of Swiss Army knife role. They can play anywhere, and they're pretty much predominantly a right back nowadays. So one of them will probably go. I like them both for different reasons, but I just don't like they say in the old Western movies, the talent ain't big enough for the two of us. So you can't have them both, really.
Yeah.
I think
so
it's
in that case,
Pep also trusts him because he played him a lot this season.
Yeah, I was saying, does he benefit from
Nunes at right back? Sorry.
No.
Start Nunes as a right back next year.
LB, let me. I appreciate. Hey, man, no, man. He cannot be our starting right back when we're trying to win the title. I seen this guy, like LB said, he against Wolves in 2 minutes in, he passes it to Cunha, and we're trying to win every game to get UCL. Every game is pressure. And unfortunately, I've seen Nunes not perform to his best underneath pressure. Man United, example A. So that's why I think Nunes will go, is because he's also taking up a foreign spot. And, hey, man, you got your trophies. We appreciate your work getting us here. let's find you a good. Maybe he goes Saudi. Maybe he goes back to Portugal. He's talked about going back to Portugal. I won't say I'm not going to slag him off because he's had. I'm not going to say he's out there. He's helped us win some games recently. But at the same time, when you're trying to take that next step, you can't have a lot of passengers. And right now we got some passengers.
Yeah, I'm not for having him as a starter. I think he's done a pretty good job in his last few weeks. Some big moments, goal against Villa, the setup for the goal against Everton for Nico O'Reilly. But there's just something about him, man, that it's that fear that he's just going to give the ball away in a bad area. And that's why he doesn't play in midfield, because he can't be trusted on the ball. And he's seen it plenty of times. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Again, it's very similar to the Arteta thing. It's sort of like he's a good player. So it may be kind of difficult to say get rid of him or whatever. But big up Mullet, man, in the chat, man. I like seeing people like back the player and like have that debate. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. Sorry, Tarek, bro. What was you going to say, man? Before?
No, I mean, basically the same thing. I mean, I think that, hey, he's a good player. He's done well in the opportunities and the positions that we've needed him, but he is not where we should be looking future wise, in my opinion. And so I think we do need to make that change. As far as Rico, I was going to say that I think if you're telling me that Rico and Nunes, both, one of them have to go, does Rico benefit from the fact that he is a homegrown player? And so that might be, even if it's a small difference, it's a thing that could potentially sway the decision his way as opposed to for Nunes. So that's all I was going to say.
Good point.
Yeah. Nah, facts. All right.
To your point, I just want to say he also doesn't count against the squad because of his age.
Fair enough. Because he's young, yeah.
Oh, why? It's because he's 20. Is he 20?
I mean, he will do next year.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, because he's going to turn 21.
Oh, next year. Next year he will.
What is he in, like November or something, I think? I think his birthday's in November.
Don't know.
He and Yashko are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Yashko's in
because this is his third year, isn't it? So yeah, that would probably mean that next year he's 22, I'd imagine, or 21 or whatever.
All right. But it would count as homegrown, so that would help us.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a few fair folks, man. There's quite a few people in the chat who are saying, "Nah, you know what? Give it Nunes, man. Give it Nunes to the end of the season." Fair dues, boys. Well, we'll see it. We'll see what happens.
Maybe they think he'll be Fabian Delph.
And I agree with you that I think it's good to see, because so often we just see people getting slagged off from our fans. So it's good to see people standing up and saying, hey, he's better than we're giving him credit for or whatever. And he can still do a job or whatever. So I appreciate that, because I don't want people to feel like all we do is get on here and slag off our players. Because at the end of the day, as long as they put that blue shirt on, I'm going to support them. But I can also have honest conversations about them too.
Yeah, no, facts. Here's the thing as well, There's still, 3 Prem games and an FA Cup final. Let's see what he does in these next 4 games. He's probably going to play right back, in that FA Cup final. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
He's going to start. He's going to start every game now in the Premier League for the rest of the season. He's got 4 games. If this guy can perform, like he's been doing recently, maybe we'll get to the end of the season and go, you know what? Let maybe give him a chance. Who knows? Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll get there and be like, nah, this guy, the guy's a bozo. Like, he's good on it. He can do this, he can do that, but the guy just gives the ball away. He can't be all right. Maybe let's see it. But the transfer window's not open. There's 4 games left and an FA Cup final. So I think there's a lot of players, for me, that are like Kovacic, Bernardo, Gundogan. All these players are fighting for the contracts, fighting to stay. They probably don't want to leave. Look at Gundogan. Guy loves it here. Guy was saying in his interview, he loves it at City. He don't want to leave. He don't want to leave. These players don't want to leave. That's all well and good, but you got to prove that you're good enough to be at the football club. Otherwise, we got to move you on. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, all right. Anything else you guys wanted to discuss on the transfer front? We got this Wirtz thing come out of Germany yesterday. Like, we don't think that's legit. Sam Lee's saying that he'd be surprised if City don't land Wirtz, I think is what he said. I don't want to misquote him, but I think that's what he said.
I have a history of misquoting Sam Lee, so I'm going to set this one out.
I'm sticking with my same opinion. I don't think we're going to sign him. I think he really just wants to go to Bayern Munich.
You don't think we're going to sign him?
Everything I'm seeing, he just wants to go there.
So what do we do then if we don't get Wirtz, in your eyes?
Full send. 2 10s, Foden, Messi.
Messi, yeah.
Yeah, and then play a box midfield with Morgan Gibbs White some games, Nico G in some games, Rodri. That'd be
And
good.
then just go and activate Musiala's release clause next year.
Echeverry will have some growing pains, but
yeah. If it was me, we don't get Wirtz.
Let's see if he's good enough. And then before we get rid of him.
Maybe we get Tijani Reinders in it, which is what Craig's saying. We're interested in Tijani Reinders. Get him, Morgan Gibbs-White, and then maybe next year go and activate the release clause on Musiala. He's got a release clause.
Musiala is kind of similar to Foden, though. Do we? Really
I know, but it's like.
Fodens? And Foden's already can't even play the midfield anyway because he's always shoved out in the wing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm full sitting Wirtz. I don't know where I'm full sitting Wirtz right now. I'm going to wait.
I still think he comes.
I hear him say he's going to Bayern. I'm full sitting Wirtz right now.
I still think he comes.
I'll eat the fattest crow of all time if he signs the City. I'm not trying to be negative. I've fallen for too many trade rumors. I fell really hard for the Jude one, so
we all fell.
I'm cautious ever since then.
The problem is with the Jude one though, we was flying off the Haaland one, innit? So we was like, yeah, we got Haaland because he rejected Real Madrid for City, right? Haaland. So we all just thought, yeah, Jude's gonna do the same, and then he just didn't. And then we missed out on Rice. Then we missed out on
that was a tough one. Yeah,
and then that was a bad year, man. That was a tough year, innit?
Can you imagine how much change would have been had we gotten Rice? This whole
oh my days. The thing is as well, different. It's like now that we've got this homegrown bit of a stress on the squad, like it's just even worse.
Yeah, one of those two would help. I think Jude counts as homegrown anymore, though. That was his last year, I think, to qualify as one, and I've heard he doesn't qualify anymore because I don't think he had the academy time or something. Because he went to Dortmund when he was 16 or 17.
Nah, he will. It's between your 15th birthday and 21. So surely you did 15, 16, 17. Surely you didn't go to Dortmund at 17. I
thought he was 17 or 18 when he went.
I think the rule is you've got to be in an English academy for 3 years between the ages of 15 and 21. Okay. So surely he was at an academy for.
He was at Birmingham for 10 years.
Yeah, but 15th birthday, was he there from 15? 15, 16, 17.
Oh no, he left.
Someone said he was 16 when he was.
I know he left Birmingham in 2020.
So how old was he in 2020?
He would have been 17.
Oh shit! So maybe he didn't make it then. Maybe he didn't quite make it because the rule is it's 3 years from your 15th birthday up until 21. So maybe he didn't quite make it then.
That would be weird if he didn't because he plays for England. Surely you count if you literally play for England on the national team.
But that's how they get around it though for discrimination, innit? Because they can't say you've got to be English because that's discrimination. So what they do is they say homegrown. That's why Nathan Ake is homegrown, even though he's from Netherlands, because he was in the academy. Otherwise, it's you're English, so you're fine. They can't do that. But that's basically what they're doing. They're just doing it in a way that's fine, innit? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's weird. But that's why now you got all these teams going out buying fucking 13-year-olds, which is weird as fuck in my opinion. Yeah, because they need to get them in to make sure they're homegrown and shit. You know what I mean? And that's why some people said we signed Rays, which obviously wasn't true. Yeah, we'll finish on this story actually before we wrap up, guys. We'll wrap up in a minute. Have you guys seen it? I don't know if you're all on Twitter yet, but actually everyone's on Twitter apart from Tarek, right? Tarek, you're not on Twitter, right?
Yeah, Tarek's on Twitter.
No,
He's on Twitter.
Oh, I'm on there. Yeah, I go over to Blue Sky a lot. Yeah, I don't. That's the little running joke on our show is that I don't really tweet. I watch or look, I scroll, but I
don't know why I said that because that's
how we connected. Yeah,
literally yesterday. Yeah, and that's how we spoke. Anyway, yeah, that's just a bozo from me. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of rumors going around about Rodrigo, man. A lot. Apparently, he wants out, which is not massively surprising because he's always the fall guy when everything goes wrong at Real Madrid before Vinny Jr. and before Mbappe. What's your guys' take on Rodrigo in terms of do we need a winger? Would you have him? I didn't realize how much some people don't like Rodrigo. I didn't think everyone would be his biggest fan, right? But some people really fucking don't like him. They think he stinks. Look at this straight away. No in capitals. Hashtag no to Rodrigo. What's you rate this guy?
Haters.
I think he's all right, but some people hate him.
I wonder why.
I want
to know why. Why do they hate? Why do they not want him? I mean, what is it about his game that you don't care for?
I don't know.
I could question.
In the park 3 years ago in the Champions League.
Yeah. So I mean, I could question, okay, well, if he comes, then that means this person's not going to be able to get minutes or whatever. But I think if you just look at him as a player, I think he has a lot to offer. I don't know why you would say no.
Yeah, I don't. But some people just don't like him. I think he's crap, innit? I think he's a good player, man. And he's like got a big game record is good, which by the way, yeah, we need to improve because our top 6 record against the big 6 teams is disgusting in the last 2 years.
Bad.
It's really, really bad. Whenever we play a top 6 side, we struggle bad. So we need to improve that. And this guy's got a pretty good record against big teams, turns up in the big games. So I don't know, 100 million quid.
I don't know if he's worth that, but that's what they would ask for him.
I think that's what they'd want.
I can't buy into it until I hear our journalists talking about it.
Yeah, but would you have him?
I do have a thing for wing strikers, the guys who can play down the middle as well. But then again, is he really going to play striker for us? Probably not. I'm very on the fence. I'd shade towards no. I think he's a luxury, he's surplus to requirements, but don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're kind of crowded because there's Foden, there's Marmoush, there's Doku and Savio. He's probably better than Doku and Savio, but I don't know if he's better than Marmoush and Foden.
Yeah.
You do get Wirtz. Wirtz likes to play off the left too.
Yeah, everybody just wants to play left wing. Like we need somebody for the right wing.
That's probably why he's leaving, or he wants to leave. It's probably why he wants to leave Real because he wants to play on that left side, and he's never going to get a moment over there.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right then. Cool. Yeah, you got Bob as well. You got Bob as well. Well, Bob might play on the right. He was playing in the right in the preseason. So I think Bob will play right wing.
I'd expect him right.
Yeah. And then Savio, Doku just fight out for the left and obviously back up right or whatever. But yeah, I'm interested to see Bob get back, man. It's been a tough year for that guy. But yeah, apparently he's back in training again. So yeah, he's back in training. But yeah. All right then. Anything else from you guys before we wrap it up?
Hey, Danny, we just got linked with a new academy player. I think he was at PSG, but I forget where I just saw this.
Striker?
Yeah. Tell me about him. I know you know who he is. And
I haven't watched him a lot, but he's still like the top scorer of the UEFA Youth League, and PSG were eliminated in the group stage. So he's a fucking marksman. But I don't know. I think I've watched him like once and he scored.
I can't get hyped for this guy, man, because I remember when we signed Claudio Gomez from PSG.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this guy looks fucking sick in midfield. He's going to be our next DM. And the guy got like 3 minutes in like a Community Shield
game. They called him the next Kante as well.
Yeah, bro. He was like the next Kante, the next Kante. It was
like, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah.
No, he's not like Palermo now, I think.
Is he? Yeah. No way. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this guy's the beast, man. And he just like never seen him. So,
but that's always the risk with young players. You see the potential, but there's no guarantee that they actually, become all that they are.
But they're so cheap. This is why, like, for me, I think the club is adopting a strategy now of just going to South America every year and buying one player. Because if one of them comes off, you're cashed in. Look at Jesus. Look at Alvarez. Yeah, people talk about Kerkez, yeah? Kerkez shit, Kerkez failed. And what? What, we paid like 5 million quid for him? We've made our money 10 times over on the Alvarez and Jesus deals. So we've done it with Echeverri. Will Echeverri work or not? Who knows? We'll find out. Maybe yeah, maybe no. If it doesn't work, who gives a shit? You go buy the next guy. Yeah, and then you go by the next. Eventually, you'll have a hit rate of maybe 30, 40%, although we're doing pretty good at the moment. 30, 40% is fine because them players, you buy them for 10 million, 15, maybe 20 max, and you're selling them. You might not sell them, you might keep them and play them, in which case, min. Or you sell them for 50 million minimum. So that's the thing with the South American League, man. You know what I mean?
Marlos Moreno. That's a good one.
That was the name I was going to bring up because I was so hyped for that because it was him and Gabby Jesus almost at the same time. So it was like they're both going to come in and just wreak havoc, and he just effectively disappeared.
And that was like during Copa America as well, because I remember Marlos Moreno scored against Costa Rica, and I'm like, shit, this is a guy we're linked to. He's legit. And then he just didn't play some game.
Yeah, he was pretty much gone.
Yeah. All right then.
So did you see Did you see? Sorry, I know you're trying to wrap this up.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Not in a rush.
Did you see? I think it was Craig who said that. From Como, Perone is going to be probably gone for. I think they said like 16 and a half.
That's like doubling our money, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think they said we've only paid like 5 so far. That was in the chat earlier on.
I mean, that seems quite cheap considering like what people have said about his performances. I've only watched Como once this year, and he looks all right. But some people have watched him quite a lot and said he's been pretty good. And I think he's been linked with Inter Milan, no?
Oh,
I'm sure I've seen some links with him with Inter Milan, and obviously,
interesting.
They've got
you're gonna need that if they're Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I don't know where he's going. I think Perone is a decent player.
Bidding war, yeah, take some money.
Yeah, well, exactly. If you can get 20 million out of it, you just go back to South America and buy the next guy, innit? Who's the next guy in South America?
Buy your River Plate guy, Masto Tuano.
That's probably not going to. That's probably going to be the deposit. You're probably going to need a little bit more than that.
No.
But yeah, but like go South America, buy the next guy, and buy the next guy. Just keep trying. You know what I mean, go buy
the other one you brought up from South of
Super Bray.
Super, yeah, that guy.
Super Bray.
There you go.
Super Bray. Yeah.
Like a superhero.
Are you going to get Carrizio?
Kevin Sullivan's about to make his first start for the first team. They kick off.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah, against Indy 11, by the way.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Is that MLS or is that the other league?
It's US Open Cup.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was going to say, how are they playing? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I went to an Open Cup game, 2 years ago? It was Sacramento. The Sacramento team. They're playing San Jose Earthquakes.
Yeah, they play San Jose every single year. They play them tonight as well.
Yeah, and that's an easy trip. That's about 3 hours over the hill for me.
Yeah.
About 2.5 hours from the Bay. So my Bay Area buddies and I, who we go to the Quakes games with, back when we all still lived in the Bay, we would just meet halfway in Sacramento. It's always fun.
I have to give us a lowdown, innit? You know what I mean?
Well done.
Yeah, he was one of the messy 10, wasn't he?
He was indeed.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, you sell Perone, you take that 20 million, you go back to South America, and you buy a couple more players, or maybe one. But
Argentina is the country to take them from too, because they're just like flush with talent right now.
Mate, yeah, facts.
Like, whoever does not make that next World Cup squad, man, that whoever doesn't make their World Cup team could probably take them on head to head, and that'd be an ideal final.
Nah, 100%. Like, there's so many players in that team that like you could go and pick out. Just go and get any of them, man. Any of them. Like, they're just I think it's a shame that Roberto done his ACL, man, because I started really liking him. Like, the start of the tournament, I was like, I'm not sure on this guy. And then as the tournament went on, I was like, yo, this guy's baller, man. He's such a good striker. And then he done his ACL. And I was like, for fuck's sake. But the Carrizio, again, another one that was like a bit slow at the start. They really got into it. The two midfielders, Acuna, Delgado, they was class as well.
I think Acuna scored over the weekend for Newell's.
Did he?
Yeah.
Go and get any of them, man. It's not hard. You know what I mean? Just go and buy anyone out of that squad, man. It was crazy. Cool. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Big up to you guys. Make sure you guys smash up the likes, man, if you've not done so already. If you want to watch something else, go and watch my cooking session of Arsenal fans on the stream that I've literally just done. I also did another one today on Arsenal fans, cooking them again, because it's just, they deserved it, to be honest with you. But I'm going to redirect it over to Lee. I think Lee's doing an emergency meeting. So I'll redirect over there. Smash a like. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys are following up Tarek on the Shades of Blue podcast. And yeah, Ed, you don't have a YouTube channel, do you? No, you're just on my channel, isn't it?
There's 8 spaces.
Well, I think the rest of us
on the
just all
spaces.
on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm the spaces guy. I'm the spaces, man. You can catch me in spaces with Martin, man, Horsey City. Twitter.
Yeah.
I started listening to those. Wow.
Nah, those spaces are good, man. They go off.
I work till 10 p.m., so I have nothing to do. I'm like, I'm just listening to everything. I wish you recorded them, because I have subscribed to too much stuff. So I listen to a lot of it on like 1.5 speed, so I can actually like get everything in. And I'm like, I wish the spaces were recorded so I can listen to them at a faster.
We talk too crazy in there. Supporting.
Yeah, it's not safe, innit? It's not
especially when people come in at 2 a.m. when they're drunk.
yeah, it's not safe, man. It's not safe. Those spaces are dangerous. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Smash a like on the stream. Make sure you guys are subscribed, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.
In a bit.